Today I am making my sweet husband his Valentine's card. It is Valentine's Day, and of course I left it to the last minute. And I know this video is going up after Valentine's Day, but this is a card that's perfect for someone you love, whether it be an anniversary or birthday or just because I love you day. So I'm going to show you what I'm making. It's a very simple card. I am starting with a piece of Pool Party cardstock. I'm cutting it down 5.5 by 8.5 and scoring at 4 1/4 to create my card base. And this is going to be a landscape card. We'll set that aside. And then I'm pulling in some balmy blue. And I'm just going to cut this down at, I'm going to cut it down at 3.5. And the reason for that is I'm going to be using my mini die cutting machine, this little baby here, and I'm going to be using the Alphabet Alamo dies. Now honestly, I wasn't sure about getting these dies because I do have other Alphabet dies, but boy am I ever glad that I got them. They're in our new mini catalog and I have already used them way more than I thought I would. These are great little dies. So I'm putting in my platform plate and my clear plate. Okay, so I have the word love. I'm going to cut that out. I'm going to cut out about 6 of them, or however many I can get on this out of this strip of cardstock, because what I don't use on the card I can use on a different project, or maybe I will use them all. We shall see. Okay. Set those aside. So I just remembered about my adhesive paper. That's going to make it a lot easier to put these letters onto my card. So I have a piece of leftover here, and I'm just going to cut this down. I can actually cut this negative portion out, put it on a card, and then just glue that in the center. So I love that about using our letters because it's like a 2-for-1. It's a twofer. So I'm just going to poke these out and keep on cutting. So I'm going to save this, and of course it has the adhesive behind it, but I think I'm going to use this on a scrapbook page, so I will do another video for that. Now I'm going to bring in my letters and just start gluing them on. So I think the balmy blue on top of the pool party is just going to add a nice little contrast. So I'm going to start by organizing my letters. Some of these are going to need glue, some of them are not, because of course I thought about the adhesive paper after the fact. Tip for getting the backing off your letters is just kind of rub it a little bit in a corner with your finger, and then it just helps lift it off. And then of course I'm putting it on my take your pick tool, which is making it pretty easy for me to line these up. I have cut a strip of Night of Navy cardstock to measure 1 by 5 3/4, and of course my card is 5.5 across, but I'm going to run this through my embossing folder, and sometimes depending on the embossing folder you use, it's going to shrink up your paper a little bit. So I always like to add about 1/4 of an inch, run it through my embossing folder, and then I can trim it if I need to. So the embossing folder I've chosen is our new Cane Weave embossing folder. So I'm bringing in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, the bigger one, because this folder won't fit in our mini. Okay, so this is a 3D embossing folder, so I'm just bringing in my gray plate and run that through. That looks so super cool. Okay, so I am cutting my Country Floral Designer Series paper at 5.5 by 3/4 of an inch. And let's see how this turned out. See, that did shrink a little bit. So, but only about 1/8 of an inch. But I'm going to trim that up at 5.5. And I'm going to glue this on top of this. So I know it's going to hide, you know, some of that really pretty pattern, but I'm going to have that really neat pattern on the top. And oh, it looks cool on the other side too. And the other thing I'm going to do actually is take my fingernail and I'm just going to rough up the edge. This was an old technique we used to do all the time when I first started stamping. But that's just going to give this a really neat texture to the card. So I have some texture from that embossing folder plus texture from roughing it up with my fingernails. So hopefully you can see that on the camera. But I like it because it just adds something different than just a plain flat cut edge to our cardstock. So now I'm going to bring this back in and glue this onto my card front. The reverse side of that same Designer Series paper, I want a red heart banner. So I'm going to trim this at, we'll do 2. So we've got 2 by, we'll do 1 1/4. Oops. And again, this is one of those cards that I'm designing as I go, but I thought I would put the camera on so you can see the process. So now I know this is going to hide some of the love down here, but that's fine with me. Now I'm bringing in a couple of dies from our two-tone floral die collection. And I'm going to cut out those dies, or the bigger die, from this linen cardstock. Okay, so I am just squishing up this paper flower and just giving it a little bit of dimension. If you've seen my last, I think it was a couple videos ago where I did paper flowers where I misted them with water. Not misting this with water this time, just giving it a good little scrunch. Okay, because there is some petal pink inside this Designer Series pattern, I'm going to pull in a piece of scrap pink cardstock. And this time I'm going to put the linen cardstock on top of my other cardstock before I run it through. See how that color still kind of comes through, even though you've got that vanilla from the linen, you're still getting that hue of petal pink behind it, which is pretty darn awesome. All right, let's cut this out. And then I'm going to scrunch this up like I did the first card and then just glue it on. So I'm pulling in my iridescent rhinestones and my Sweet Sorbet Stampin' Blend marker, and I'm just coloring in one of these gems. And I'm going to pick that up and just pop that right down in the center. I just had a thought. I want to put some linen thread in the middle, so I'm actually going to lift this off. We'll come back to that. All right, so I have just put my ribbon down, my twine ribbon, and put that rhinestone back on top. So now I am going to decorate the inside of the card. You see the difference where it's just straight and flat? Both look good, but it's nice having that texture. Now I'm bringing in my Country Bouquet punch. I'm going to punch out a heart. And that's going to go on the inside. Okay, so I am bringing in my Night of Navy ink pad and the Country Bouquet stamp set that coordinates with the punch and the paper in this beautiful suite. Okay, so I am bringing in the Sweet Sorbet ink pad, and I'm going to ink up Happy Valentine's Day, and I'm going to stamp that first. Okay. Now I'm bringing in my Night of Navy, and I'm stamping I Love You right above there. Now I did punch another heart because I wasn't sure if I wanted to put two hearts on here or not. I'm thinking I am, because why not? Why not, right? So I might put the heart up here, which is going to draw some red up there. But I think that looks kind of good too, so I'm going to do that. And there's my completed Valentine's card. You could use the alphabet dies and put the word hello or somebody's name. Of course, right? You could do anything you want. I hope you enjoyed today's card and video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I appreciate you so much. And if you haven't already, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button, the little bell next to it, so you're notified every time I upload a new video. Take care and happy stamping.